What's going on? It's your boy Gaming Grown. What is going on? Happy game day to you. I'm never gonna complain about a late day Saints game because I get to get so much done. I feel like on Sundays, the worst time to have a game is the 1 p.m. game, in my opinion, because I prefer to watch the games, right? Like around 1 p.m., but I like to get shit done too. And I feel like whenever the Saints play at 1 p.m. Eastern, I like wake up and I try to get some stuff done, but then it's just like after an hour, I'm like, you know what I mean? It's almost already 12 o'clock. I got to get ready for the game, you know? And then by the time the game's over, I'm so hammered. I'm like, whatever, it'll be a tomorrow thing. But with 4:25 p.m., I get to wake up, do the yard work, turn the other games on while they'll put on the Red Zone channel while I get some things accomplished. I get to relax, have an extra cup of coffee. It's great. It's fantastic. And I really hope that my convenience can also lead to a victory for the Saints, because if there's ever been a time for the Saints to get an upset, it's right now. Heading into the bye week next week, coming out of that bye week, going straight in against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady at the helm. By the way, how did that game end, or how is it about to end? Bengals versus Bucks. Or Browns versus Bucks. What's the score of that? Let's find out. Bengals game. Let's see here. Browns game. There we go. Browns and Bucks. Looks like with 2 minutes left, the Bucks are going to probably win this one. So they'll be up 6-5. We have to get this W. We have to get the win. It's plus 325. What's the spread? What's the spread, chat? What's the spread for today's game against the Niners? Let's go do a quick spread check. And let's see how big of an underdogs are the Saints heading into San Francisco today. Because I think we have a shot. Mark Ingram's back. Marshawn Lattimore is officially ruled out again. Jarvis Landry finally feels healthy. Seems healthy at least. Kamara's doing his thing. Cameron Jordan should be back. We're going to be missing Pete Warner and Marshawn Lattimore for sure. But if Alontae Taylor and Adebo can stay disciplined, I think we might fare a better chance than anybody else. We get a huge trap game heading into San Francisco. This could be a trap game at home for the Niners. It's an 8.5-point spread. So, that makes me feel a little bit worse about the situation. But if there's ever, I feel like whenever the Saints are underdogs, that's our best situation. That's our best opportunity, is whenever we are the underdogs. But heading into it, let's open it up right here. So I'm going to go ahead and go down the injury report. To my understanding, and so far we have JT Gray is out. Peyton Turner is out, which sucks because I really feel like Peyton Turner's been coming into his own. You hate to see him have that ankle injury last week against the Los Angeles Rams at a huge win for the Saints. Pete Warner finally, should be coming back. I'm hoping soon. He hasn't been practicing, but I am hearing that, his recovery is going well. For his ankle injury, so hopefully he'll be good. Jarvis Landry was limited. I know Alvin Kamara had an illness, but he's expected to play. Andres Pete is expected to play. I believe Trevor Penning is off of IR. I don't know if he's expected to play or not. Let's see, Trevor Penning. I'm going to check. You go down to the San Francisco 49ers. I know Arik Armstead, the defensive tackle, is officially out. Trent Williams is good to play. And then Deebo Samuel, to my understanding, is expected to play with the hamstring injury. So, it kind of matches up favorably for the 49ers, but the Saints are going to have some familiar faces back. Adebo is back. Lattimore will be out, but Adebo is back. Or I'm sorry, Roby, is back. Andres Pete, Penning. The offensive line's healthier. Cameron Jordan's back. Davenport's expected to play. So we should have an opportunity to get there, right? To be able to actually get pressure to the quarterback, because if that's going to be how we have to win. Is applying pressure, not allowing them to run the football, and then scoring aggressively. Yeah, Penning is back. So offensive line, defensive line expected to have a lot of love heading into this one. But let's go straight into it. I'm going to give you my prediction. I think the Saints pull one out 24-20. I really think the Saints could come in, score, and win in San Francisco, score early, go up heavy, almost lose the game in the second half, but defense shows up and puts a stop to the San Francisco 49ers for a huge win, giving us 2 in a row heading into the bye week. We'll get some extra rest. We'll come out guns blazing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as we try to have a last minute race to finish first in the new NFC East, aka the NFC South, because if there's any division that not spoken for. It is the NFC South, and we can use that to our advantage. But first things first, we have to execute on the basics, and we have to get healthy. I'm going to open up the Discord, though. I want to hear, this is a quick one because then we have the game starting up here soon. I want to hear you guys come in and chime in and give me your thoughts on this game heading into San Francisco and where the Saints fare favorably, unfavorably. Where do we have to, improve? Where do we have to sustain? What happens if we lose? Join the Discord. It's in the pinned comment below. Hop in here. I'm going to call people one at a time to give me y'all's thoughts. And if y'all are just now tuning in, hit that like button if you're listening to me here on Facebook. Hit the follow. Hit the sub if you're listening to me over on YouTube as well. We'll be here, Spotify, Apple Podcast. This is the Believe That Daily Sports Podcast where I bring you New Orleans Saints, LSU, Tulane coverage, as well as Louisiana sports such as Pelicans basketball, mainstream sports such as Odell Beckham going to Dallas, which I know I've been talking on a lot, but I'm waiting for the final nail in the coffin. I would love to see him return to New York because I think him and Daniel Jones could be great. But look, we're here to have a good time, enjoy some coffee, some beers, some brews, some vibes. Come through and be part of the conversation. Hit that Discord and let me know how you feeling, baby, because I'm feeling pretty optimistic because whenever everybody else counts out the Saints, that's when I count us in. Going into a game against a losing team. Going in against the Rams, going in against the Raiders, I was not expecting us to execute because we tend to play down to our opponents and play up to others. I think we can play up to the Niners. We're going to keep it close, and I think we have what it takes to come in. What a huge upset win, possibly the upset win of the week for my New Orleans Saints. Let's get it. Let's get some hoot-ats in the chat. Let's get some love in the chat. Let's get some shares flowing and going and rolling, and let's get some people in Discord. What's going on, Joe? How you feeling, man? And what are you expecting out of this game today? Joe, can you hear me? Let's see if you can hear me right quick. Joe, you hear me? Nope. The conductor of pain, Paul Heater, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. What's good?
What's going on, man? So what are your thoughts from now you're a 49ers fan coming from an unbiased perspective. What do you think is going to happen in this Saints versus Niners game, and who needs the win more?
I think it's going to be a really good game. We always play each other tough. I think for the Saints, they actually need to put Jameis Winston in to give them the better shot to win. But I think our secondary isn't that great, so I think I see Olave actually setting it off, and I think he's going to have a really huge game.
Where do you think y'all's defense is going to be really sending, the most? Is it going to be stopping the run? Do you think it's going to be getting pressure to the quarterback? Like, where do you think the mindset is for Shanahan going in against this super inconsistent Saints offense?
I think it's going to be our front seven with Bosa. I think you'll see Fred Warner blitz a little bit, and I think you'll see even Hufanga play the line, kind of like how Palomalo used to back in the day. So I think he's going to mix it up and get Dalton confused a little bit.
Hey, you're not muted, Joe. My bad. Joe said don't mute him. I did mute you. My bad, Joe. All right, I'm gonna get you in after this one, Joe. So last thing, what is your score prediction? Because I know you're a 49ers fan. So what is your score prediction heading into this game? Because here's the thing. I know that you have to get pressure to Dalton. Dalton is going to be the quarterback back there today. He's going to be in the pocket. But we have Trevor Penning back. We have Andres Pete healthy. We seem to have an improved offensive line. Depth-wise, they've gotten better. And we're getting some starters back today. We're getting our power rusher back in Mark Ingram to hopefully lighten the load on Kamara and open up things deep for Olave and Jarvis Landry. This could arguably the most healthy our offense has been since week 1. Maybe even healthier. So what is your score prediction trying to keep taking anything? This could be a trap game, 101 in San Francisco. What is your score prediction? San Francisco 49ers versus the New Orleans Saints.
San Francisco 28, New Orleans 24.
28-24. I got us 24-20 with the win. Appreciate you, Paul. Thanks, man. Anything else you got for the people or anything else you want to say head into this game?
It's Niner Nation, baby. We're going to get this dub real quick.
I'm going to be sick. All right. Hey, have a good one, Paul. Appreciate you, bro. Joe, what is going on, my guy? Can you hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you loud and clear.
You motivate me. You motivate this community, this chat. Let's see if we can't bring the motivation together and get this team pumped up, amped up, ready to roll, cock-locked, and ready to rock into San Francisco and leave with a huge upset. Not just the upset of the year for the Saints, but the upset of the week and possibly the upset of the NFL season and a must-win matchup in San Fran. What's your prediction, and what do we have to do right?
What do we have to do right? We have to play exactly how we played last week.
I like it. Do you feel like, obviously, bringing in Trevor Penning and Andres Pete's going to be a healthier offensive line? Do you think that messes with the mojo a little bit, or do you think that's just going to give Andy Dalton even more time?
I think that can intensify the mojo. I think that helps us. But also, let me say this real quick to Mr. 49's dub, Paul. Paul, we come to play, and Paul, we are ready for war.
We ready for war. I'm telling you, because we got nothing to lose. We coming in looking at 4-7. 4-8 is on the horizon. If we don't do everything correctly, we have to be able to outcoach Kyle Shanahan. We have to be able to outcoach Kyle Shanahan. If we can't outcoach him, because they have more talent than us, they're the most well-rounded football team in the league this year. And that's without question. They are the most well-balanced team. So you cannot make mistakes. You have to beat them by smart clock management, smart coaching, and pressuring Jimmy G into bad decisions.
Absolutely. I honestly think that our defense is going to cut up today. We're going to cut up. I think we're going to eat Jimmy's ass up.
And that's great, but we have to stop the run game too, because I believe Jimmy G is 7-2 in games where he hasn't thrown a touchdown. It's something nuts like that, because they can win with just his presence, and they've shown that because of their run game. So I'm almost the opposite. Like, I want to get to Jimmy G, but I want to force him to throw. I want us to stand tough. I want us to stack the box every single chance. I want us to stack the box 80% of the game. I want them to dare Jimmy G to throw it, because I think our corners are fast enough to shut him down. And if we can get around the edge like Cameron Jordan showed that he can do before the eye injury, hopefully he's doing better. I know he was questionable for a while, but if we can bring the pressure in and most importantly stop the run and dare Jimmy G to go deep on us, that's going to give us our best chance to win. But does Dennis Allen have that aggressive type of defensive approach in him?
I'm with you on that. I think that if we can split snaps between Taysom Hill and bring in some crazy offense like we did last week and just throw them for, they're not ready. They don't go in there and say, okay, we're going to prepare for two different quarterbacks this week. No, you're going in there preparing for Andy Dalton and just prepare for Taysom Hill. You can't prepare for him. You cannot prepare for him unless he's just your A1 all day long. Other than that, you cannot prepare for him. Plain and simple. There's no way.
And I feel like it's real old school defense with the San Francisco 49ers, and I think that's where Taysom Hill plays his best ball, is against these old school style defenses, especially in guys that like Kyle Shanahan, where, look, I'm not super sold on Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he's a great coach. I'll be honest. He's a good coach, don't get me wrong. But is he on that level of Mike Tomlin, of these, the only type of teams, and I've said this multiple times, I've preached on it for weeks, is that you don't want to send Taysom Hill gadget plays at guys like Mike Tomlin, normally against guys like Pete Carroll, experienced guys, right? Guys that run old school defenses, but also understand the gadget type offensive, attack. But when you bring in a guy like Kyle Shanahan, who isn't nearly as tenured experience as a Mike Tomlin or as a Pete Carroll, and they run that old school defense, that's when we can have a lot of fun. It's just going to be about execution. And then I know everybody's saying in the chat here, and stopping Christian McCaffrey. But I'm not as concerned with Christian McCaffrey, because we have plenty of experience with Christian McCaffrey. I know he hasn't played a whole lot, but whenever the games where he did suit up for Carolina against the Saints, we have plenty of reps against him, plenty of reps coaching against them. And if we can somehow make them one-dimensional and make them have to throw the ball, if we can lock down Christian McCaffrey so much and make it one-dimensional, where we make them throw the ball deep, we make them hit those 20+ yard pass attempts, that is the only way we're going to win. If we let Christian McCaffrey have his way, like we did in Carolina at the loss earlier this season, it's not going to be close.
No. I tell you what, though. Dude, I don't care what nobody says. After that win yesterday, I think our chemistry came back. I mean, yesterday, wow. After our win last week, the chemistry we had that week, it was epic. That was the chemistry that the Saints normally have. So when we go into the 49ers nation, we shall demolish them.
Who do you think needs to win more, San Francisco or the Saints?
It means you say who's it mean more to?
Which team needs more? Because let's be honest, like with this win, will the Saints even really have a fair shot with Tampa Bay winning like this and with Atlanta staying competitive? And, you know, San Francisco also not wanting to drop one because they're trying to fight for that #1 seed in the NFC. So who cannot afford to lose this game?
No, we definitely cannot. We need to beat them and then turn around right there and beat Tampa Bay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go to war.
And I'm here for you, man. And the only reason I'm here with you as much like, you know, realistic, you know, I'm all about optimism, but realism too is because we have the bye week next week before we go into Tampa Bay, because we're going to be Dennis Allen can coach against Tom Brady. Dennis Allen can coach against that Tampa Bay offense. He has, and he's done a great job. Rough, you know, of course, it was a rough game earlier in the season, but Dennis Allen has the tools to coach against Tampa. I firmly believe, whether or not we win this game today, I firmly believe in my heart that the Saints will beat Tampa Bay in 2 weeks. So if we can somehow get this win, head into the bye week, come out of the bye week fresh, guns blazing, head into Tampa, beat the Bucs, then we're sitting pretty looking at Atlanta after 3 wins in a row and an extra week of rest. We can make a push towards the end, but it all starts with today. I mean, it's going to be that way until we get back into the, you know, the positives, because every game for us is a must win, because the next loss is essentially a nail in the coffin. We cannot afford to lose more than one more game, and that's max.
No. I tell you this. I honestly firmly believe, I said I've been saying to myself all week. I even got the Saints winning on my little 10-leg parlay. You know what I'm saying?
All right. What's the odds on that one?
What?
I said, what's the odds on that one? What's your parlay? What's the odds on that one? The total parlay.
They got 77% 49ers winning.
Nice.
So
who do
I wouldn't be a $1,000.
Who do you see having the biggest game on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball?
Okay, biggest side on the defense is going to be our I think our defense ends. I'm sorry. You know what? Let's recap that. Let me say with my guys coming back in beside Marshall and Lattimore. Let's say our secondary. Let's go off on a limb. I know we don't believe in them because, you know, your boy Paul with San Francisco definitely don't believe in them. Let them spank that ass. Let's go there. And in the offensive side, I think we have either Olave or Kamara for sure. Or you know what? It might even be Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill.
Yeah,
if they use him accordingly.
I think Taysom Hill has the biggest offensive day today. I think Taysom Hill has a career game today. I do. I think Taysom has, because if he doesn't, like Chris Olave having a good game will not be enough. Alvin Kamara having a good game will not be enough. Maybe if they're good enough games together, sure. But what is one player on the offensive side of the ball? Like if we could get, all right, you get to pick one player to have a season high, you know, statistical performance today. You get to pick one player, and it's got to be one player that's going to give you the best chance to win. It's going to be Taysom Hill, and I think he does. I think Taysom Hill comes in early. I think he gets the ball 30 times a day. I think he's on the field for 30 snaps today. I'm telling you, I think he is on the field for about 30 snaps today. Whether he's lined up at tight end, fullback, he'll be everywhere.
And that opens up Andy Dalton because they're so scared they don't know what's coming next. And I think there was a good duo last week.
And then I know Debo's coming in with that hamstring injury. He'll be battling it out with Paulson and Debo, and I think it's going to be a big test for Paulson and Debo, especially when they line up Debo Samuel at running back, and it gets real confusing, especially during man assignments and things like that. But I feel like Dennis Allen understands what they're coming in against because he understands how the 49ers run that offense. He laid it out in press conferences. He seems pretty. That's one good thing about having a defensive-minded head coach is whenever they come out in these type of sets with Debo out there and Christian McCaffrey lined up at wide receiver, they understand it to a degree maybe where a Sean Payton or a Pete Carmichael wouldn't. So we have the advantage there too, but on the defensive side of the ball, we need a Debo to shut down Debo. We need Taysom to ball out, and if two of those things can happen, if both those things can happen, and we win the turnover battle, I think this is a game and the W column from New Orleans Saints, 100%.
100%, bro. 100%.
All right, last thing, man. What's your score prediction today for Niners Saints?
Saints 28, 49ers 20.
Let's get it, man. Anything else you want to convey before I get you out of here? Anything else you want to say? You good? You still there?
All right, bro. Yeah.
All right, cool. Anything else you wanted to say, or you good?
Who that?
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, Joe. Appreciate you, man. Always love having you on here. Hopefully, I'll see you in the post game, and I'll see you at halftime.
This time, make a post game no matter what.
I got you. All right. Let's get it. I love having you guys on. I'll leave that Discord open for the next few minutes while we're live. And if anybody wants to hop in here and give me your piece, exactly how you're feeling for the Saints, the Niners, if you just want to come on here and say hi, let me know. Hop in the Discord, come through. I want to get you in here. What are y'all's questions, comments? Where do you feel like we have to really play lights out if we want the Saints to have a chance to beat the Niners? I don't think Debo's out today. I do not think Debo's out today, but I will double check that. I don't think Debo is out today. I'm pretty sure, or not Debo. Debo Samuel should be playing today. Yes, Cam Jordan and Debo Samuel were the two most, I guess, questionable that are going to play. Because it was Lattimore. Lattimore was the most questionable, but he's officially ruled out. So Debo and Cam became those top two, and they're both expected to play. Lattimore is officially out, Mattson, again with his abdominal injury. It is what it is, man. Like, I feel like we really wanted to use him this week. We needed him this week. But if he's hurting the way he is, you might as well try to come out here and get a huge win against the Niners. And like I was saying, I've been preaching going into the bye week, we'll give Lattimore that extra rest. Or we'll give Ingram that extra rest. I think we wanted to play everybody today. We wanted to play everybody today, but it just makes so much more sense to still be safe, stay aggressive. Like, I don't think Mark Ingram will be playing today unless we really needed some extra. We need every body who can dress out today and show up and at least step on the field, whether it's as a decoy, to get some snaps. You know, if he just gets 1 or 2 carries for Ingram, we need every single ounce of effort today. And if we didn't need that, I would easily see a lot of these guys sitting and then they'd come back out here in 2 weeks against the Bucs. But we need this win. So with Lattimore sitting, I understand it. We're already kind of going all out in the ways of making guys play that probably shouldn't. Leon says Matt Tua is going to have a big game today. He definitely needs to have a big game today, especially when it comes to tackling in the middle of the field, because Christian McCaffrey made him look silly in Carolina. So if you see Christian McCaffrey make that defense look silly in 2 separate uniforms in the same year, that's going to really be heartbreaking. Who we got in here? What's up, Ryan? What's going on, brother? How you doing? What you got to say today about the 49ers Saints game, man? Give me your 2 cents.
You asked, and I think it's our biggest problem has probably been a lack of pressure. Lack of pressure from that defensive line, man.
I agree, because I feel like we have the big bodies and we can close the pocket, but guys have been pretty much escaping the pocket on us, and we're not able to catch up around the edge. So if there's
nobody getting to the quarterback.
Right, and if there's anybody who cannot escape the pocket, it's going to be Jimmy G. So he's going to be most prone to sack, but that's why we have to stop the run, because they're going to try to run the ball at us 90% of the game if we let them.
Because we have David Onyemata. When he is on, he's on. But when he's off, there's nobody in the middle of the line. There's nobody. The reason the secondary looked good the last several years is because we had the ability to put pressure on a quarterback, which allowed the secondary to play free. They can't do that anymore because they're stuck on these guys. They have to stay with them because the defensive line is doing nothing.
Well, yeah,
nothing.
D-line sets the table, and I've always said that I would much rather have a mediocre secondary with a beast defensive line versus have a beast secondary and a mediocre defensive line, because you look at teams, I mean, the damn Bengals made it to the Super Bowl, and their CB1 was Eli Apple. What does that tell you? It means that if you have guys up front like Geno, like Trey Hendrickson, who can get pressure to the quarterback, it sets the table for that secondary to where even those, inexperienced guys, it doesn't give the quarterback that time, because with the quarterback having time, that also provides time for the receiver to get open, to run different routes, to run through second, third, plan B, C's, D's. Eventually, somebody's going to get open to where they're going to get hit with the ball, because not only is that secondary having to stay on their feet, on their toes, running at full capacity, but they're trying to guess these premeditated secondary routes that these receivers are running. But if you're able to put the quarterback on their ass, it's hard to get thrown on for 300 yards, no matter how trash your secondary is, if that opposing quarterback is in the turf.
Exactly. We've put ourselves into a really weird situation with the defense in the secondary, especially because Lattimore is out. We've got. Do I think Adebo played well last year? Yeah. Do I think he was the answer? Not yet. Dude needs work. And what did we do to replace veterans? We went out and got older at safety.
Yeah, we try to make
So
the most
we're
bang for our
either
buck.
too
They go
young
out there and get
or-
Marcus May, which is not an improvement over Marcus Williams. They go out there and get Tyler Matthew, that is not an improvement over Marcus Williams. We lose Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who, of course, is crushing it over in Philly. Love to see my guy doing it. But we lost key safeties, and then we replaced them with expensive older safeties that aren't quite as expensive, but also not quite as talented. Whether or not they
they're
used to
either-
be or are now, Marcus May and Matthew are on none of those levels. And
Exactly. They're either
and-
too old
yeah.
and too expensive or too experimental later round picks that just they needed more work before they were being put on the field as it is.
Yeah, and if Granderson can step up, I mean, Granderson had a sack and a half last week against the Rams, and I love to see him, and they had him and DeMario kind of blitzing off the same end. At times, they had Granderson kind of towards coming on the end on certain blitz packages, and I loved it because some of those were, it seemed like they were kind of zone set. And so what I'm worried about is us being more of a man scheme defense heading into a team that has McCaffrey, that has Debo, that has guys, kind of the offensive weapons that you would never want to play man against, especially when you have a younger secondary, a less disciplined secondary in Alontae Taylor, Paulson Adebo, guys who are quick, but they can get burnt and they can commit penalties, especially if they're being challenged in these man-on-man assignments. I'm just hoping that Dennis Allen doesn't get too scared to venture away from the game plan, because their offense, their type of offense plays best against the type of man defense that we run. But if we're able to get the pressure there, then it won't matter.
Yeah. And Adebo's deal, I love his athleticism, but Adebo gets caught looking in the backfield way too much.
Yeah,
And that
yeah.
him to get over the top.
And it comes down to the middle of the field tackling, and us not having Warner out there again is going to be to where, okay, Warner's not there, so we can't stop the run up the middle, because that's where we struggle, is stopping the run up the middle, unless Pete Warner has a good day, because Pete Warner's watching the middle right there. You see DeMario's kind of silent on the sideline trying to cover each end, plus they're sitting him in on certain blitzes. They really had Pete Warner focused on the outside run, on the inside run, trying to get tackles behind the line. And without him out there, you have to have these younger D-line guys step up, because Zach Bond isn't going to do it. Granderson might do it. Tuttle might do it. Roach might do it. These type of players that have proven they can make plays if called upon in the right situation, if complimented by if everybody else can do their damn job, and we can get our linebackers attacking the quarterback like DeMario did last week, which is out of his. I mean, he'll attack the quarterback, sure, but he's not that type of linebacker. And if we can turn him into that, and while we have these certain holes and certain game plans like against LA, then we have a real good chance against a Jimmy G, who is known to make pretty bad decisions under pressure.
Yeah, and Caden Ellis he played well, or he's played decent.
He has.
He's done way better than I expected him to fill in, especially for Pete Warner. There's moments. He's probably a better coverage linebacker than Pete Warner, but he's not as stout against the run. He's not that guy. But my question is then who are we going to put in to cover George Kittle? Because, I mean, that guy he's probably the most complete tight end as far as blocking and receiving ability playing football right now.
Yeah, I would say against George Kittle, you have to. It's going to be a struggle. I mean, we've always struggled against tight ends. We've always struggled against big tight ends. We've always struggled against George Kittle. I mean, I think everybody can go back to the game just, not too long ago where we played the Niners, and George Kittle, for the game winner, essentially carried like 3 Saints defensive backs on his back.
Yeah.
While they were yanking
Marcus Williams.
While they were trying on his back, while they were trying to yank his helmet off. They're just laundry all over the field for face mask penalties, because George Kittle's just dragging these defenders all the way to the 30-yard line. And they get
he carried them a good 10 yards.
Exactly. So your question is, who is going to have to step up against Kittle? They're going to have to just make it to where they're not going to be able to stop Kittle. They have to make it to where Kittle is the only guy making plays in the pass. That's the only it. That's the only way. Or they're going to have to make it to where they're stopping the run, where they're so stout against the run that if the Niners even want Christian McCaffrey to have a chance, they block Kittle. Those are the only chances. Or if we're getting pressure at the quarterback, we have to block Kittle instead of sending him on a route. Maybe they send him on a delayed route. And in that time, we get pressured to Jimmy G. We have
Yeah,
to
I
make
would-
Kittle a non-factor by focusing in on other players. But who's going to stop Kittle? I don't think there's a single person on that team that can stop Kittle right now.
Yeah, I'd suggest putting somebody over top of him as a defensive end. If he's actually on the line and he's not split out in the slot or something, I would put somebody on him to chip him, reverse it, reverse the roles, chip him as he goes to make his break to slow him down just a little bit, and then hopefully put somebody on him. Again, Caden Ellis, maybe.
He's
Maybe
not
as
fast. I
far
love
as-
Caden Ellis because I mean he had 5 solo tackles last week. I think 5. He had a sack and some change. I think. I mean we really got to the quarterback a lot. I think we had more sacks last game or close to it than we have all year. We attacked the quarterback relentlessly, and Caden Ellis is a big part of that. In pass coverage, he can be there, but what I like is if somebody catches the football, he's able to hit him and not, jar the ball loose, or, if he wraps up, he's going to convert on his tackle in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
He's not going to be fancy. He's not going to be sexy. He's not going to stop George Kittle. But if he can just do enough to make everything else a non-factor, let George Kittle have 150 yards. I don't care. The win's all I care about. And can we get a win with George Kittle having 150 yards? Yes, if the circumstances are right.
if he's the only one getting 150 yards, for sure. It's just a matter of limiting everybody else that's getting those touches because, like you said, Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey, the amount of things that they have the ability to do now and not have to put all of that load on Christian McCaffrey like he had to deal with in Carolina, it opens things up for him to stay fresher and for Deebo Samuel to stay fresher, and that could be a problem.
I know as people talking about Alontae Taylor, I don't like Alontae Taylor. So many penalties. He's also a rookie. So the thing about Alontae Taylor is a lot of people understand that he's an aggressive type of defensive guy. Like, he is talented. He was a Tennessee Volunteer. I was a big fan of Alontae Taylor. People were wondering he'd come into the league playing corner, safety, especially coming into the very crowded secondary of the Saints where, there's been a lot of injuries, so it's giving him a chance to really prove himself. Really shining to be a corner. Is there penalties? Yes. But you know what it is? I don't mind the penalties coming from Alontae Taylor, just like I don't mind the penalties coming from what we're going to see with Trevor Penning because they're both aggressive players. It's easier to tell somebody to tune it down than to turn it up. I mean,
exactly.
You could talk about Alontae Taylor having penalties. Screw the penalties. I'm sure he had buku penalties against the Raiders, but he also shut down Devontae Adams to like 3 yards. Devontae Adams, we're talking about a rookie, Alontae Taylor. That kid is good. He is having a tremendous year. He's one of the best defenders we've had since Marshawn Lattimore in the secondary, defensive rookies, I should say. And let's see here. Here he goes. And I like Alontae Taylor. Yes, he's undisciplined to an extent, but he's aggressive. He's in your face, and he's the type of corner we need right now with Lattimore out.
Yeah, discipline is something that you can coach up. That he can be taught when to pick his moments. I think Alontae Taylor, personally, I think he's our best bet to replace Chauncey Gardner-Johnson once Lattimore is healthy, once we can work Adebo, Roby back into the rotation the way that they're supposed to be, the way that they were intended to be used. Alontae Taylor has enough of a dog and enough of the size to be the same type of player as Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was for us. He's got it.
I agree. He has the energy and intensity. It's just going to come with him continuing to develop and him continuing to shine and have big breakout games like it could be today. Well, we're about 5 minutes from kickoff. I appreciate everybody coming in. But let me ask you this last thing. What is your score prediction today of Niners versus Saints?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm going to stay low on it, and I'm going to say 17-10. And I hate to do it, but I'm going to say 17-10 to San Francisco because we're still starting Andy Dalton.
That's fair, man. Well, I appreciate you, Bubba. Thank you for coming in to the Discord. Thank you for your piece, man. Hope to see you at the halftime and the post game.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too. All right, Draylon, I see you in here, man. So what is your score prediction for the game today, San Francisco versus New Orleans? What is your score prediction before we get everybody out of here?
Just like you said, man. CMC, Run DMC, HBCD, EFG.
I see it don't matter, baby.
Saints by 17.
Saints by 17. I like it, man. I appreciate you coming through. Anything else you got to say for the team today? Any kind of words of encouragement, words of wisdom, words of motivation heading into San Fran for the people?
It's It's San Fran. It's San Fran. Yeah, we've always had a little bit of a rivalry with them. But then again, they still have McCaffrey. We know what McCaffrey does. We know what McCaffrey does every single time. So it should be hard to stop him in that offense. It's simple. It's simple.
You say that, just like the rest says they know what Taysom's doing. It should be simple to stop the Taysom runs, but then they don't. Because you can know it, like you can know a missile's coming, but if you don't have the capabilities to stop the missile, that missile is still gonna make contact. So let's get it.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, all right, Jordan, I appreciate you, man. You're having some audio issues. I appreciate you though. Have a good day today. Enjoy the game. Who dat?
You too. You do that.
Let's go. Appreciate you guys. We're about 3 minutes from kickoff. I will see y'all at halftime. Drop your score predictions right now in the chat, in the comments section. I'm going to run a cutoff, and I'm going to see who can guess right. I might have something special for you. If you're listening to me here on Facebook, hit the like button. If you haven't already, hit the follow button. If you're listening to me over on YouTube, hit that sub. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all of it, a bag of Zaps chips, thank you for the support. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you here in the future. I'll see y'all in my halftime report, and I'll see you in the post game where hopefully we will be discussing a New Orleans Saints upset victory in San Francisco against the rolling Niners. Thank y'all so much. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. And as always, who dat, baby? We dat, believe that. Whether or not you doubt the Saints' intensity, it's games like this where we show up. Just know that if you doubt us now, you keep the energy consistent, because I know I will. Let's get it, baby. We coming. Who dat?